You saved Randy Orton's life.
I saved him from getting his ass kicked as world champion, and not saying that he couldn't defend himself. What had happened was we were on a tour in Europe. We're a 19-day tour, and when you're on those tours, you wrestle every single day. There is no day off. So a common practice, or at least used to be, was at the end of the tour, everybody would go down to the hotel bar and get inebriated. So by the time you got on the plane, you could pass out and take that 14-hour plane ride or however long plane ride, and then you virtually sleep through the whole thing. So we're all down at the hotel bar. It's me sitting across from Lance. To my left is Arn Anderson. To my right is Randy Orton. And there's a fan that came in and asked Randy for his autograph. And Randy was a little volatile at that time. He was going through some personal things, and it was very easy for him to blow up. Mm. So when a fan come up and asked him while we were in our off time for an autograph, everybody kind of like took a deep breath, like, all right, here it's going to ruin the evening. This one. Randy signed it, handed it back to the guy, and never thought nothing of it. The guy then proceeded to ask Randy for some more autographs. And Randy's like, listen, buddy, like I signed one for you. Can you please just let me have time with my friends and enjoy myself? And that fan turned on him, like proceeded to yell at him, cuss at him. Who do you think you are? We pay your salary. We're the fans. You got to do what we ask, blah, blah, blah. So Randy stands up on his chair and looks for security, yells at security and says, hey, this guy just grabbed my balls. We need to get him out of here. And so security takes him out of the bar. We go back to our conversation. About 20 minutes later, the guy shows back up again, and he's nice and cordial and asks Randy to sign something. And Randy goes, bro, I've already signed something for you. Please leave me alone and let me spend time with my friends, man. It was a long tour. Now, what the guy didn't know was 3 days before that, Randy had gotten hurt, and he was world champion at the time. But he couldn't even bend over to tie his boots. His back was hurt so bad. And the last 3 days of the tour, they put Randy in tag matches to kind of help protect him and carry him along so he could still be on the tour and the fans could still see him.
Right.
But he couldn't even bend over to tie his own shoes. He was hurt so bad. So the second time, the fan starts cussing him again, and Randy stands up and yells at security and says, this guy fucking grabbed my balls. Like, get him out of here. So the security assured us that they got him out of the building, out of the bar, so we didn't have to worry about it. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. The bar's closing up, and we have about 2.5 hours before we have to get on a bus and head to the airport. So we're walking through the lobby, and what we didn't know was the guy that gotten kicked out snuck back in and was hiding behind the desk. So when we came out, Randy, Lance and Layla were in front of us. Randy was behind them, and I was behind Randy. And this guy come out of nowhere charging Randy like he was going to tackle him. About, I don't know, maybe 5 or seconds before, Randy caught him coming out of the side and yelled, Trevor! Now I'm inebriated. I am fully immersed in the alcohol.
Yeah.
And I see this guy, and I turn around and just right hook him. Wham! Well, this other gentleman started stepping towards me, taking his jacket off, and I smoked him right in the face. What I didn't realize, though, was that these two gentlemen were part of an Irish wedding reception that was going on at the hotel, and they were all in the lobby. Ooh. So now this whole Irish family has seen me knock out 2 of their family members. And I find myself in a half circle of about 20 Irishmen taking their jackets off, ready to beat the shit out of me. While this is going on, my tag team partner realizes what's happening and turns into an NFL linebacker and starts running and just lowers his head and shoulders and comes in from behind and knocks a hole right into this half moon of guys. Reaches through, grabs me through the hole. We're running towards the elevator as these guys are chasing us. And like a movie, the elevator doors closed right at the last minute. So Lance and I, all right, we got out of that one. Ooh, that was close. That was, shit. We go up to the room, and we see there's only one road to the hotel. So we see cops coming down, like we see the cherry lights of the cop cars, we see the cherry lights of the ambulances coming down the road towards the hotel, and we're like, surely that's not for us. Well, we're trying to calm down, and about 15 minutes later, we get a call to our room, which is now it's like 3:30 in the morning. So we know that's not good.
Nah.
I pick up the phone and it's on. And me being an idiot, half crock, I proceeded to try to pretend like I was sleeping. Like, oh, I don't know. What's going on there, buddy? What can I do for you? I'm sleeping. And he just no sells it. And he's like, boys, you getting fucking arrested. You need to get fucked down here right now. What we didn't know was the first guy I knocked out started getting up, and the security guard that was supposed to be protecting us and looking out for us realized what was going on and proceeded to take a 10-step punt and
Oh.
kicked this guy in the face, and which brought him up and right back down and completely like smashed his nose, broke an orbital. So the hotel called and called the police. And I guess in Ireland, their rule is to arrest everybody in the fight and then figure out what happened after that. We got arrested. Lance and I were so big that we couldn't fit side by side in their paddy wagon in their cop car, so they had to bring literally one for each of us. Uh, Drove us, me, Lance, and the security guard to the police station. They walked the security guard directly back to the jail cell, closed the jail cell door, closed the big door, walked me and Lance into another room, and the cops started apologizing to us because they had to bring us in. They started bringing us coffee, taking pictures with us. They were all fans. So we were just trying to do whatever. Let's fill out whatever paperwork you guys need. Let's take whatever pictures you need. We have to be on a plane. Like, we're going home back to Raw. Like, we're Raws in 2 days. Like, we're heading home. We got to be on that plane. Luckily, we rushed back to the hotel. Literally, as we're coming back to the hotel, the boys are getting on the bus to head to the airport. So we rush up to our rooms, throw everything we can into our suitcases, and just barely make the bus. So now Lance and I are wide awake, 14-hour flight. We're world tag team champions, and we realize we're going to get fired. We got arrested in another country, even though we were doing the right thing. We got arrested in another country as world tag team champs. That's going to bring press, and they're going to fire us. Well, we were scared for about 4 hours, and then we started getting mad. We were like, "Hold on a minute! We were defending the world champ." Like, it said, "Recording stop, recording in progress." So I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
All right. So we went to Vince and we laid it out to Vince. This is what happened. This is why we did what we did. And then there's like this 10-second pause. It felt like forever. But he pulled his glasses down and looked at us, and he was like, "You know what, boys? I talked to Randy. He told me what you guys did and why you did it. And you know what? It's good for the fans to get their asses kicked every once in a while. Don't worry about it, boys. I'll talk to the lawyers. We'll get this all straightened out. Don't worry about it."
Oh my God.
And we were on Raw that night, defending the tag belts. The twist in the story, though, is we assumed that it was just done and over with. Like, it was, okay, Vince, you said it's taken care of. I ain't got to worry about it. About, what is it? About a year and 1 month later, I get let go. I get hey, listen, I got the future endeavors speech, right? Okay, it's part of business. Let's move on. About 2 months after that, I get a call from WWE Legal. And they're saying, "Hey, listen, you need to go to Ireland to take care of this situation." And I'm like, "What situation?" Like, I totally forgotten about it. And they go, the fight that you and Lance had gotten into. And I said, "Well, I'm not going back to Ireland. I'm not messing with any of that shit. Like, if there's an issue, I don't ever plan on wrestling. Like, I don't get a lot of bookings in Belfast, Ireland, so I'm really not worried about it, And they said, "Well, that's fine, but it'll mess up your passport." And I was going back and forth I was starting to go back and forth to Japan again, and that would have killed all of that. So I'm now freaking out. I'm like, how am I supposed to handle this? Like, what do I do? And they said, it's on you. We're just calling you to inform you of what's going on. I said, so you guys aren't going to help me with the lawyer? You're not going to help me with travel or any of that? No, it's on you. So Lance had just gotten released maybe 2 weeks before that. And he calls me right after. He goes, "Do you hear what they're doing to us? They're going to let us hang. They're going to let us hang for this." Um, so we called Shawn Michaels and explained everything to Shawn. And Shawn had knew the story previously, but I just laid it out, and he goes, "That's not right. Something's not right. I'll call you back in 5 minutes." And sure enough, in 5 minutes later, I didn't get a call back from Shawn. I got a call back from Johnny Ace. Boys, we're gonna go ahead and take care of all this. Don't worry. We'll get the lawyer. We'll take care of travel, your hotel. Travel will get a hold of you. But they were willing to let us hang for that, and truly would affect my career. And I had to make the one and only time I've ever called a top guy and said, "I'm getting fucked. Can you help me?" And Shawn stepped up. I don't know who he called. I'm assuming he called Johnny because it was Johnny who called me back. But Shawn really stepped up in a big way for Lance and I, because I wouldn't be able to do anything overseas. And at that time, most of my business was overseas. In Japan, that's where I went to the dojo when I was over there for Noah for 6 months. That was my place, my bread and butter. So I'm really thankful that Shawn stepped up and spoke up to whoever he needed to and defended us, because I wouldn't be wrestling today if it wasn't for that.
At worst, things could have gone really sideways for you. Like if you went back to Ireland without having any really backing, and they just keep you there because of visa issues, and it could have that could be we wouldn't be talking right now probably if that went sideways
No,
completely.
you're 100%, and it really hurt my feelings, to be absolutely honest with you, because when I was with WWE, I did everything they asked me for, every single thing. I let a 500-pound black man hump me on TV.
Yes.
Like that's, I mean, hey, listen, I'm a team player. If that's what we need today, that's what's going to happen. And it really hurt my feelings that they were willing to just leave me hanging to dry out there like that. So people always ask me, like, you ever plan on going back to WWE? That's the main reason why I always say no. Like
Wow.
that's not something I want to be a part of, because they were willing to let me hang in the worst possible scenario that would have affected me and my family.
Right. And especially when they said they were going to take care of it. So it's been like about a year, you said. So you thought, oh, it's been a
Yeah,
year. You thought, well, it's probably been taken care of just behind the books. I didn't know anything about it.
right. And you know what happened when Lance and I flew over there? We spent maybe 15 minutes at the police station. We went in there. They had CCTV, and it had a 15-second delay. So all they seen was me standing there. Then the next shot was the guy down. Me standing there was the next shot. Then the next shot was the guy down. And so they literally had no evidence. And I'll remember this to the day I die. The police officer looks at me, and at the time my chops were huge, big, and bushy. And he looks at me and he goes, "Sir, are you the fellow with the gingerly sideburns right here?" And I just looked at him and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's me, buddy. Like, yeah, obviously that's me." Okay. And they had no footage of actual me making contact with anybody, so they let it go. So I got a free plane ride to Belfast, Ireland for about 15 minutes of conversation. And then Lance and I went and drank the rest of the evening, had a good time, got drunk before we got on the plane, passed out, and went home.
Oh my God,
And that
dude.
was all over with. That was it. It was all over with. And never had to worry about it again. If that would have happened, if they would have just called me and said, "Hey, listen, we're going to send you there and get for you guys to button this up," I would have been WWE's most loyal employee even afterwards. Even when I got let go, you never heard of me going out and burying them on websites or
Yeah.
doing interviews to bury them. Whereas a lot of guys would do that because they were mad and they were upset about the way they were treated. I never thought that was good business because eventually one day you might have to go down that road again. And I never wanted to burn that bridge.
Well, that's I remember you telling me that story about the Randy Orton situation, but then I believe we didn't go forward and go to this part two of this story of how pretty much you were told that we'll take care of this, and then no one took care of it. You weren't a part of the company anymore, and they just dropped this hammer on top of you and going, "All right, you take care of it. Bye bye."
Yeah, like how many, independent wrestlers at the time had, enough money to pay for a trip to Belfast, Ireland and back, book a hotel, book a lawyer, nonetheless. Like I
Right.
called Lance and I go, how the hell do we get a lawyer in Belfast, Ireland? Like we can't you can't pull up the yellow pages or you know what I mean? And well, hello, who could fix this for me?